Let's count to 3 and then we'll hang up together.
Okay, you start.
1,
2,
3.
Some MASH characters were impossible not to love, and others made you roll your eyes every time they showed up. But here's the twist, even the most disliked characters had moments that made us laugh, think, or secretly root for them. So today we're heading back to the 4077th to settle it once and for all. These are the most loved and the most disliked MASH characters of all time.
I can take it.
Where do you want it?
In my arms.
Party pooper.
Alan Alda's portrayal of Captain Benjamin Franklin Hawkeye Pierce made him the heartbeat of MASH. He was more than just the camp's top surgeon. He was the voice of reason, the comic relief, and often the emotional conscience of the 4077th. Fans still rave about Hawkeye decades later, saying he was brave enough to challenge authority, yet compassionate enough to care deeply for everyone around him. Reddit discussions and fan forums often rank him as the top character in the series, with one fan noting, "Hawkeye isn't just funny, he's the reason the show has heart. You feel his humanity in every scene." But here's the twist. Not everyone is a fan of Alda. Some feel that the show revolves too heavily around Hawkeye, with other characters and storylines taking a back seat to his humor, antics, and moral dilemmas. This makes him both beloved and, for a few, a source of mild frustration.
Well, I don't want it first thing in the morning. I want it first thing now.
Well, I can't reach them now, sir. I'll be calling them yesterday.
That's ridiculous.
Larry Linville's Major Frank Burns was the perfect foil to Hawkeye and Trapper. By the book, uptight and self-important, he followed rules blindly and frequently clashed with the more relaxed doctors. A memorable example is Season 2 episode The Incubator, where Frank tries to keep medical equipment for his own status rather than for the wounded soldiers. Fans saw this as bureaucratic stupidity and a perfect illustration of why he was so disliked. Despite being disliked, Frank's presence was crucial. His uptight nature and frequent mistakes gave Hawkeye and Trapper someone to challenge and prank, creating some of the show's most iconic comedic moments. One fan wrote, "Frank Burns made every victory for Hawkeye feel earned. He may have annoyed us, but he made the show funnier and more interesting." Over time, some fans even appreciated the occasional moments of vulnerability in Frank, glimpses of insecurity or genuine concern, which added layers to what could have been a one-dimensional character.
On your feet, soldier. I'm Colonel Potter.
Sorry, sir. I had no idea you were...
The father figure of the 4077th. Harry Morgan's Colonel Sherman T. Potter stepped in after the departure of Henry Blake, bringing a unique combination of experience, wisdom, warmth, and humor to the camp. Unlike Blake's easygoing, sometimes scatterbrained leadership, Potter commanded authority with quiet confidence. He was disciplined, fair, and deeply compassionate. Potter won the hearts of many fans in the episode Dear Mildred, where he wrote a letter to his wife expressing his love for her, his fondness for his horse Sophie, and his care for the camp. Fans loved Potter because he was the perfect balance of strength and heart. He could enforce rules and maintain order without ever being harsh or overbearing. At the same time, he had a remarkable ability to handle Hawkeye and BJ's constant antics with patience, subtle humor, and understanding. Whether mediating pranks, calming tensions, or offering sage advice, Potter became the moral and emotional anchor of the camp.
This is the end of the line for us. From now on, I'm number one. Me, Margaret Houlihan. And believe me, soldier, I deserve better than you.
The strictest nurse in Korea, at least at first. Loretta Swit's Major Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan entered the 4077th as the by-the-book head nurse, disciplined, serious, and often intimidating. She took her role very seriously, running the nurses and the ward with precision and authority. But to Hawkeye, Trapper, and even some fans, her strictness came across as cold, inflexible, and unapproachable. In the early seasons, Margaret was often described by fans as shrewish, too uptight, or simply the character everyone loved to roll their eyes at. She clashed frequently with Hawkeye and Trapper, who saw her adherence to rules as humorless and frustrating. In Season 1 episode Requiem for a Lightweight, she tries to get Hawkeye and Trapper transferred because of their antics, making her unpopular with fans. Her stern demeanor and zero-tolerance attitude made her a lightning rod for conflict, at least in the early seasons. Yet this image changed changed over time. As the series progressed, she began to evolve, revealing layers of intelligence, strength, and compassion. She grew into one of the most loved characters in later seasons, and that's how most fans remember her still.
What's a nug, sir? Oh, a nug is a gun, sir.
McLean Stevenson's Lieutenant Colonel Henry Blake was the 4077th's commanding officer, widely loved for his easygoing leadership, humor, and genuine care for his staff. Blake's relaxed style made him approachable and human, often bringing warmth and laughter to the camp. While some fans note that he could be indecisive, distracted, or occasionally too permissive with Hawkeye and Trapper, these traits made him relatable rather than unlikable. Early fan discussions described him as funny but inconsistent, yet many agree that his charm, kindness, and sense of humor balanced the stricter personalities around him. Blake's character shows that a leader doesn't need to be perfect to be beloved. Fans often remark that his quirks made MASH feel authentic. The mix of humor, mistakes, and compassion added depth to the show.
This entire conversation goes in your file. Sitting there, I recorded every word you guys said.
Can have a guess where he hit the microphone.
Colonel Sam Flagg, played by Edward Winter, was the unpredictable military intelligence officer and one of the show's most eccentric characters. In the stories, he was paranoid, suspicious, and often antagonistic toward the other camp members, a villain within the camp. A particularly memorable example occurs in Season 5, episode The Abduction of Margaret Houlihan, where Flagg investigates Margaret's disappearance and accuses Hawkeye and BJ of sabotage, even though they were only trying to save her. This episode perfectly illustrates Flagg's extreme paranoia and his chaotic impact on the 4077th. While he was technically hated by the camp, fans loved him for the very same reasons. His over-the-top antics, unpredictability, and absurd schemes made him one of the most rewatched and memorable characters in MASH. Fans often describe him as ridiculous but unforgettable, while others thought he disrupted the show's emotional balance. Still, even those who didn't love him admit that Flagg added a unique flavor to the series. You probably remember him as Margaret's irritating husband you couldn't help but roll your eyes at. Lieutenant Colonel Donald Penobscott made his mark on the 4077th not with heroics or charm, but with a combination of pomp, awkwardness, and a tendency to frustrate both the camp and the audience. His storylines, especially those involving his marriage to Margaret Houlihan, were often unpopular among fans, earning him a reputation as one of the more irritating recurring characters. In Season 6 episode Comrades in Arms, Margaret's marriage collapses as Donald becomes arrogant and unfaithful, giving fans a reason to sympathize with Margaret while reinforcing why Donald was often seen as frustrating and self-centered. Penobscott's personality was a stark contrast to the competence and professionalism of Margaret. While she demonstrated intelligence, leadership, and compassion, Penobscott came across as entitled and comically inept in handling both military and personal situations. Fans often described him as spoiled, overly pompous, or a walking headache. One fan commented, "Penobscott was annoying, but he highlighted Margaret's growth and added tension to the storyline." And he's right. Despite the dislike, Donald Penobscott had an important narrative function. His presence gave context to Margaret's evolution, showing her resilience, independence, and ability to navigate challenging personal relationships while thriving professionally. In many ways, his flaws amplified her strengths, making her eventual growth more noticeable and satisfying for viewers.
Captain B.J. Hunnicutt. Say it, ferret face.
Mike Farrell's Captain B.J. Hunnicutt joined the 4077th as the replacement for Trapper John, quickly becoming a fan favorite. B.J. was compassionate, intelligent, and quietly heroic, offering a more grounded personality compared to Hawkeye's impulsive humor. According to Screen Rant, B.J. is considered one of the most relatable and admired characters in MASH, providing a steady moral compass and heartfelt moments alongside Hawkeye. B.J. wasn't just a foil for comedy, he had his own stories, showing vulnerability, grief, and the toll of war. Many fans highlight the episode The Interview, where he talks about his family and his moral dilemmas, revealing the inner struggles that come with serving in a war zone. It shows BJ's emotional range, highlighting his humanity and capacity for loyalty.
Hoover, and it ain't by Herbert Hoover. It's for all you animal and music lovers. the Cincinnati Dancing Pig.
Gary Berghoff's Corporal Walter Radar O'Reilly was the embodiment of innocence, loyalty, and reliability. Known for his uncanny ability to anticipate problems before anyone else, Radar senses it became a classic line. He was the emotional anchor and comic relief for the 4077th. Fans adore Radar for his charm, optimism, and unwavering dedication. According to Screen Rant, Radar consistently ranks among the top-loved characters in MASH, praised for bringing warmth and humor while never losing his integrity. Radar's personality made him relatable and endearing. He was gentle, humble, and remarkably clever despite his youth and rank. Fans often mention how his innocence provided contrast to the chaos of war, allowing audiences to experience the camp through his perceptive and kind-hearted eyes. One fan said, "Radar made the 4077th feel like a family. His heart kept the show grounded even in the funniest or darkest moments."
Thank you, sir. As are you. Shortly, I will be in a position of authority over...
David Ogden Steyer's Major Charles Emerson Winchester III replaced Frank Burns as the disliked foil for Hawkeye and BJ, though he was more sophisticated and cultured. While many grew to love him over time, some fans initially found Winchester's arrogance, pretentiousness, and snobbish attitude off-putting. He first appears in the episode Fade Out, Fade In, where his elitist behavior clashes with the rest of the team. According to Collider, Winchester is considered one of the more polarizing characters in MASH, whose wit and elitism divided viewers. Some loved his intelligence, others disliked his arrogance, but even those who disliked him admit he added sharp humor and a different kind of tension to the camp. His rivalry with Hawkeye and BJ, combined with his occasional vulnerability, created some of the show's most memorable character moments. One fan noted, "Winchester could be insufferable, but he made every episode richer and more unpredictable." Over time, most fans grew to love him, especially after the episode Death Takes a Holiday, in which he helps treat a deceased soldier with the appropriate respect. Fans noticed his character growth, and some fans even cite that he carried the show in the later seasons.
Corporal Klinger. I'm Section 8, head to toe. I'm wearing a Warner bra. I play with dolls. My last wish is to be buried in my mother's wedding gown.
Jamie Farr's Corporal Maxwell Q. Klinger was the 4077's resident schemer, constantly trying to get a Section 8 discharge so he could leave the Army. One of the show's longest-running jokes was Klinger dressing in women's clothing to appear unfit for service, which provided comic relief while highlighting his audacity and creativity. Fans described Klinger as polarizing. While many loved his cleverness, energy, and inventiveness, some viewers found his schemes repetitive or his humor exaggerated compared to the show's balance of comedy and drama. His antics kept the camp lively, though opinions about him could differ. Despite any annoyance, Klinger's humor, persistence, and occasional vulnerability made him memorable. He added chaos, laughter, and unpredictability to the camp, ensuring that the show remained entertaining and dynamic.
When are you interested in the Bible?
I peeked at the end, Frank. The devil did it.
Shut up!
Wayne Rogers Trapper John McIntyre was the original partner in crime to Hawkeye, setting the tone for the irreverent anti-authority humor that made MASH a classic. Trapper was witty, charming, and fearless, always ready with a prank or clever quip, yet he also had a soft heart, showing genuine care for patients and friends. A great example of that appears in Season 2, episode Kim, where a young Korean boy is wounded and brought to the 4077th. Trapper considers adopting the boy, revealing a sensitive and compassionate side that balanced his usual humor and mischief. This episode reminded fans that beneath the pranks and wit, Trapper was deeply empathetic, someone who cared genuinely for those around him.
You can't stay here forever.
Stop pushing me, Father. I'm not going back.
The consequences of your actions will affect the rest of your life.
William Christopher's father, Mulcahy, was the 4077th's gentle, compassionate chaplain. He was quiet, humble, and always present when the soldiers needed support. Unlike the loud antics of Hawkeye, Trapper, or BJ, Mulcahy offered emotional balance. He brought comfort, moral guidance, and subtle humor, often helping the wounded and anxious cope with the horrors of war. Fans loved Mulcahy for his unwavering kindness and empathy. Beyond his kindness, Mulcahy also had moments of bravery and cleverness. In Season 5 episode Mulcahy's War, he helps the wounded while struggling with his role as a non-combatant. It's a powerful, human moment that shows his courage and compassion even as he doubts himself. He also frequently organized fundraisers, calmed panicked soldiers, and occasionally joined the camp's pranks, proving that his warmth didn't make him boring, it made him endearing. Father Mulcahy proves that being loved doesn't require drama or arrogance, just steady compassion, relatability, and a heart that connects with everyone around you. From the heroes we love to the characters we love to dislike, MASH will always be unforgettable. Which character is your favorite or most frustrating? Comment below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more MASH Deep Dives.